You're listening to Quantum Revenue Expansion with your host, Ursula Menchez. Let's go.
Hey, everybody, and welcome back to Quantum Revenue Expansion, the podcast where we help you turn your annual income into your monthly income. Just want to say hello and welcome you to the show this morning. I'm a little bit more subdued, and I'll explain that in a moment. I do want to welcome my special guest, Kathleen Hustad. She is an amazing entrepreneur, and today we're going to talk about how to bloom your company's value proposition story for quantum growth, which sounds so delicious and amazing. So Kathleen, I'm so delighted to have you with us today.
It's an absolute privilege, Ursula. So happy to be here and great working with you. So thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. Excited to dive into our conversation. Before we do that, though, a few words out into the world. In Texas and the United States for our international listeners, although I'm sure this is an international news story. As we're recording this, it's one day after the tragic shooting in Uvalde, Texas, at the elementary school, and I think only 10 days out or around there from the very tragic shooting in Buffalo here in the U.S. And so, as citizens of this country, I think we're very impacted, right, by all of these tragedies. And it goes without saying, our hearts go out to all of the community members in Uvalde, the parents, the families who've been affected, and those also who in Buffalo who've been deeply impacted, and the domino effect that has had out into our other communities. So we stand with the citizens in Uvalde and in Buffalo, and we support you. And as CEOs, as entrepreneurs, Kathleen and I were having this chat ahead of time. It's so important to utilize these spaces that we have to open up these conversations and make it a safe space. And so we hope you feel that when you listen to our podcast, because you are part of our community. And it's definitely, you guys know we've had Steve Vetter on, Steve Miska. Steve Vetter is another one of my clients I've had on. We have had Steve Miska, who is the director and founder of First Amendment Voice. And First Amendment Voice is all about protecting the First Amendment from a perspective of having safe conversations in the world to make our country and the world a better place. So we invite those conversations here. And I just wanted to put that out there before we dive in today. I know Kathleen will be sharing some of her thoughts as well about her enterprise and what that really means for her and her platform. So before I introduce you to Kathleen, a couple of other things, just housekeeping. If in your business right now you're feeling a little stuck, I invite you to download our free gift. It's super easy to get to. It's on my homepage on my website, ursulainc.co. It's Quantum Revenue Expansion, the Masterclass. It's a nice pairing with the podcast that you're listening to right now. And during the Masterclass, we cover three things. One, how to increase your quantum revenue container so that you really can 2x or 10x your sales. Two, we talk about how to hire a team, how to support your business to get there even faster. And the third part of the course, we talk about how to collapse time, which is really trippy and kind of fun and very interesting from a quantum physics perspective. And because of those topics, our clients have been able to get to that next level faster than they might have imagined otherwise. So definitely take advantage of that, or come and play at the next 2X intensive. You can go to ursulainc.co/apply, send us your details. You get a very special investment prize for being a podcast listener. We'd love to support you with that. All right, having said all of that, let me tell you about Kathleen. She created Bloom 44 because she has been recognized as one of the top handful of marketers with the ability to dig deep, uncover what makes products and services unique, and share that story with prospective clients and investors. She thrives on collaboration and helping socially minded healthcare companies grow their top line. Kathleen believes in helping her clients grow and with their innovative products, and help their innovative products reach more people, and as a result, make the world, of course, a much better place. In addition to being an expert storyteller and knowing the healthcare industry inside and out, she is a wife, a mama, and partnering to make her community even better. The causes she cares about are children, environmental conversations, human rights, and economic development of historically underserved communities. What a beautiful platform you have, Kathleen. Welcome to the show. And I want to say this about Kathleen, since I've known you, there's something about you, Kathleen. You have one of the biggest hearts of anyone I've ever met. You wear it not just on your sleeve, but it like expands out around you. So it's no surprise that you're in this socially conscious business and you're up to amazing things in the world. So let's hear about you. Just jump in. Tell us your story. What brought you to this moment?
Yes. So I'll kind of do it in reverse order. So I am here today because Ursula and Rebecca, they have really helped hone my business, accelerate my business, and get that CEO mindset. So check out this free course. And if it appeals to you, please dive deeper. It's really benefited me and a lot of folks to grow $1 million plus businesses. So Ursula and Rebecca are the real deal.
Say that.
I was not paid. I was not paid to say that, but so that's why I'm like literally here in the seat today. And then I think just going back in time, I worked in healthcare for 10 plus years. I have spent 10,000 plus efforts in rooms evaluating solutions, crafting executive presentations, and then always my heart was making a difference for better well-being for everybody. And then moving back, I have an MBA in marketing from one of the top tier consumer packaged goods marketing companies. I was a journalist for a while and even started off as a youth journalist. So definitely, when I go way back, because I think CEOs need to do that deep soul work of their soul purpose, right? So you go back to your childhood and who is your authentic self? So first of all, helper, healer, storyteller. I really have that true belief that stories and listening can shape the world for a better place. And just always using that platform to elevate voices of the underserved. So that's kind of, and then essentially to like a humanitarian pull. So that's kind of like my soul essence. And then that's guided me to my journey today. And then looking forward to the future, I've helped clients and I'm looking forward to, I just envision so many more clients as I scale that I can help get those business to business, business to business to consumer companies, get them more revenue, get them more business, help them reach more people to make a broader impact. So that's kind of my story in a nutshell.
I love it. Well, congratulations on so many levels. And it's been an honor for Rebecca and I to be able to travel this journey with you, especially given this massive domino effect that you want to make in your own company, but also the other companies that you work with and the domino effect that they make into the world. And it just keeps going. So it's like you're riding this domino platform out into the world. So tell us about this. Like, this is super excited because, of course, on this show, we talk about quantum revenue expansion, and you help your clients have that by helping them tell their story better. So what are the main problems you see for your clients, and how do you solve them or help solve them?
Yes, definitely in a nutshell. And I encourage people to reach out to me for a complimentary conversation. My website is Bloom, like the flower, 44thenumbers.com. So just as a quick elevator speech, Bloom 44 helps purpose-driven healthcare companies stand out from the crowd. There's bazillions of companies, and I really work with those companies that have that passion and they have those products to make an impact. So I help them refine and co-create stories that stick with their prospects. And then I help their prospects just truly see that value. And really that's a collaborative process where a lot of these caring companies are super humble. They can't even articulate or even see those diamonds of how they help people and their customers. And then by having those effective pitches, I truly accelerate their journey on top line growth because they're closing more sales. They're closing them more quickly. And then it's definitely underlying is the feel good, right? So in turn, as they grow their business, they touch more lives to grow well-being.
Amazing. Okay, so let's dive in. I have so many questions for you, and I just had this aha moment about you that I didn't have until this conversation, which is why I love having it. So we'll get to that. But first, let's explain what is a value proposition story and why does it matter? Because for all of our listeners in the world, listen, Kathleen's an expert. Like this can help all of us, right? So let's like have your pen and paper out if you don't yet to take some notes. So again, tell us about a value proposition story and why it matters.
Yes, and we can definitely go deep on this, and I'll keep it super high level. So stepping back, simply, I like to break it out into 3 words: value. And that is what your customers see as a value. It's not like what you think the value you're delivering is. And then proposition is really how do you communicate the features to the benefits, and it's something that the company, your ideal client, really is compelled to pay a premium price because they see you are the unique solution to their problem. And then story, this is huge, right? It's crafting memorable impressions in these conversations, and it can go a lot of directions. And where I help my clients is when they're across the table, helping those things stick and be memorable. And the reason why stories are important is on average, we're hit up with 3,000 messages a day, right?
Wow.
That's like the average person. And so I kind of multiply that and I think about those CEOs, they're probably hit up with at least 9,000 messages. And so by simplifying that, into a value proposition story, that makes it easier for those CEOs and those decision makers to really sign the dotted line, because they can see that clear reason why they want to work with only your company.
Yeah, beautiful. Okay, so here was my aha moment that, and maybe I heard this before and I just didn't put all the dots together, or maybe I haven't heard you say it, but how did your work as a journalist shape what you're doing now?
Yes, so it's definitely the art of storytelling, and the art of, one of my favorite types of stories that I was very good at is what we call a human interest story. So really capturing, what does this person look like? What are they doing? And really helping the reader get into the shoes. So it's that empathetic, compelling storytelling. And then with my clients, they're caring companies, I put the care into that. And what that does is exponentially shape those stories, and we compel those companies to really see, oh my goodness, this is why this company is so different, and will help me help my customers have healthier lives.
Yeah, yes, so amazing. Which ties to when a business has a compelling value proposition story, what returns for the client? What happens to them?
Yes. So basically, I'll just give you an example, just a high level generic example. And I think it can translate to a lot of industries because we're all selling, right? Because we're in business. So a compelling story really helps communicate that value to the business and helps people just set themselves out from the crowd and just compels them to sign. So it's really top line growth. And then also the other benefit to reducing cost is when those companies know exactly what they're signing up for and exactly what to expect. On the back end, your cost for customer services are going to go up. Your net promoter score will increase because they know exactly what they're buying for, and it leads to retention. They're happy. They're not going to shop around because they know you are the one and only solution to their problem.
Wow, so powerful. So do you want to, I know your target customer is in the healthcare arena. At the same time, we know this can apply across the board. Do you want to show, I know you have some visuals for us. You want to walk us through the process. And for our beautiful listeners listening on the treadmill or in the car, you won't be able to see this, but Kathleen's going to give you a high level explanation so you can visualize it as she goes.
Yes. So I think with storytelling, that's the other important thing is like, it's the words and the visuals and the feelings. And there are definitely proven tools. And I will put this up on my website in a moment. See here. So these are just two high level, basically industry standard templates. And what I've done is simplify these. So it's a logical exercise that any business owner can go through. And it's to help business owners to get things on paper to get to that 10,000 foot view. And once that's completed, as a business owner, it's important to get what I call the voice of the customer. So you need to validate it. So you probably have some top clients. You need to sit down and just kind of listen to them and hear what they value in you. So this is a starting point to really hone out those nuggets of your value proposition story. So basically, this is a business model canvas, and it really, truly, for any business, helps outline the big pillars of business. And I'm looking at my screen. So it's key partners, key activities, key resources, customer relationships, channels, cost structure, and revenue streams. And where we go deep in creating the value story is honing on that value proposition. So this is where you focus on the customer. So going into like, what value do we deliver to the customers? And it can be a hierarchy of needs, like from those basic needs are met to like at the top of the pyramid, I am affecting, self-actualization for my customers. And and then we ask, which of your customers' problems are we trying to solve? What bundles of products are we offering to each customer segment? And which customer needs are we satisfying? And I think, like any business owners, we are wearing so many hats, running a mile a minute, but just pausing for an hour and getting this on paper is huge for anybody. And then it's stepping back and looking at the customer segment. So who do you serve? And it's really cool because when I do this on my business, it always helps me think of extra personas that lead to other opportunities of untapped potential for my business. So on my website, you'll be able to sign up, and basically I give you 10 hacks of how you can get this out on paper in an hour or less.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm going to just quickly shift gears to one other last template, because and for those listeners on the phone or on the podcast, I encourage you to check out my website and listen to the replay. So one second.
As Kathleen's bringing that up, we will have all of this in the show notes for you as well. So don't panic. We'll show you exactly where you can go to get these and to get Kathleen's hacks, because who wouldn't want to get this done in under an hour? I would love to.
Yes, exactly. Thank you so much. Okay, here we go. Okay. So I think this is the fun. I mean, this is the fun part, and I just love it. So this is the value proposition canvas, and this is where you really blow out and expand on the value proposition and the customer segment. And what I just ask people to do is just get in a space where you can be super creative, turn off all your messages, and really focus and just meditate on the consumer segment. And just there's 3 quadrants to document: gains, customer jobs, and pains. And I think let's just start with a positive, focus on the gains that you bring to your customers. And then, basically with your customer service, there's probably some abrasion here and there. That's business. We're always improving. So get those down on paper, and then step back and really be candid and honest about the customer jobs that your customers are needing to achieve. So very commonly, you're helping people save money, technically, and deliver a great experience that keeps them coming back. That's just one kind of freebie. So once you have customer segment, that stuff on paper, then you shift gears and you look at your value proposition. So to me, what's always easiest to start with is products and services, because you pretty much know those. Yet by doing this exercise, it might help you think in new ways, in a new perspective. And then stop and think about what pain do you relieve? So maybe you're a processing company, you process payroll, right? So perhaps you just have this flawless, seamless, automated process where the HR department doesn't have to lift a finger for your payroll. So you just make it easy is one example of a pain reliever. And then think about the gain creators. Like, what gains do you enable with your customers? And, I tend to think in the B2B world, yet this applies to the direct to consumer businesses. So I truly hope this exercise, the listeners find this helpful.
Yeah. Do you want to bring the slide? I was going to have you, that's all. Do you want to bring it up really quickly? We can just look at it because I think the visual is so cool. I know when I was looking at it, it definitely made it easier.
You think by now I'd ask people if they can see my screen?
I was going to interrupt you, but you were on such a great flow. I was like, oh, I think it's okay. So just high level again, just high level.
Yeah, so high level, just start with the easy things on the page, right? And if you're getting stuck in any of these quadrants, just move on to the next, right? And it's kind of like a crossword puzzle, basically. It all kind of fills in at the end. So customer segment is where I recommend starting. And start with a happy face, gains, because that's why we're in business. We're bringing delight to our customers. So what makes your what are the delighters? Like, where do you make your customers super happy? And then start to think about the pains, and you can look at customer service things. Maybe you've had a client that wasn't the best fit. Why did they leave, right? So you can just kind of get some of those pains out on paper, because that gives you an opportunity to at least be aware of the pains. And then, maybe it makes sense for your business to take a look and invest on ways to fix and improve that experience. So the little bit of a trickier piece relates to the customer jobs. So really think tactically, what is my consumer trying to solve? So just an example is like, hey, I'm making an air freshener. I'm an air freshener company, and I help my consumers have a home that smells great and welcoming, and the host is very confident that it smells great. And oh, by the way, there's a little bit of sanitizer in there to clean up, the environment. So just think about the jobs that your customers are trying to do.
Okay, got it. Okay. And then real quickly on the value proposition, gain creators, products and services, pain relievers.
Yeah, so these are all pretty straightforward. So just really, I think, focusing on the gains and try to just be super creative and, just kind of put on a fresh, unvarnished thought and get this on paper. So this is phase one for a CEO. Phase two, you need to talk to your customers to really validate this and have these open-ended conversations. There are market research firms that you can find and you can work with to really validate that voice of the customer in many ways. And then I think the bottom line is just always getting that outside perspective on your value story. So there are so many companies that help, companies really get their value proposition story to the next level. I really like to help those healthcare companies because I'm the only one in that space helping them. Yet there are so many, there's so many resources, and the right resource is out for you. And the research is showing in business, right? The trend is you have to show value. You need to show purpose. And this is how you stand out from the crowd. It's not enough to compete on cost alone. It's not enough to compete on convenience alone. And for any business to evolve and grow, you need to focus on your value proposition story.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you for sharing this. And
of course,
it's going to be really helpful. And again, for our listeners, it'll be in the show notes. And we love bringing our guests like Kathleen, to the show to give you information like this that you can implement immediately, along with the hacks. So that'll be coming, that Kathleen will be sharing that. It'll be all in the show notes. All right. So we can take that down and let's shift gears a little bit. I have a lot of things I'm going to ask you yet. So, yeah, I'll let you just go ahead and share that down.
Yeah, thanks.
Did it get?
Yeah, sorry. Goodness. Thanks, Ursula.
No worries. I want to be able to see the larger, beautiful version of Kathleen. Otherwise, I'm kind of like that. I need like 10 screens, All right. So I'm going to save the social enterprise piece till the end because I really want to close with that. I know it's near and dear to your heart. So I'm going to hold that. Let's dive into your money journey. We're talking about quantum revenue expansion. So do you remember, how do I start? Like, especially this business, the moment you had a major breakthrough around what was happening with the company, and what did it make you realize about the company and where you're going now?
Oh goodness. Yeah. So much to unpack. So when I started the company, it was honestly too broad, and therefore I wasn't reaching a specific audience, right? And so you and Rebecca really helped me hone in and get to that niche, because niches are, the riches are in the niches,
They
right?
are, yeah.
So you helped me, like, I think it's like with that value proposition story is getting coaches that hold that belief for you and really help you unpack, because there are so many limiting beliefs, and there are so many subconscious beliefs, and it's just like a blind spot. You need a coach to help see you for that. So I think that was the breakthrough. That was a shift that really accelerated my journey.
Yeah, awesome. So where do I want to go next? Let's go there. Just the you talked about limiting beliefs. Like, what's the number one limiting belief you've had to shift for yourself about having your own business and scaling it?
Yes, I truly, it's hard to come up with the number one because we know everybody has these, and you have to bust through these limiting beliefs to really maximize your business. So in thinking about it, I think it goes back to, I had amazing grandparents, and I always think about my grandma Dottie, amazing person, yet child of the Depression, right?
Yes, right.
It's like in our family, we carried through these things that help with our family's survival. And she scrimped and she saved, and like the cascade effect for me and future generations that helped pay for college, So it was always like, money is something you save.
Mm.
And then now it's shifted with business, is you need to spend some money to make some money, right?
Right. The money has to move. The money really has to move. And that's a hard one, especially when some money starts to, starts kind of piling up pretty nicely. Our tendency can be to go into hoarding mode, which is totally normal. We all do it. And it's like you just want to buckle down. But the business is calling for more. And that's when we step into the belief, right, Kathleen, that there's more business out there, more business is coming. I'm in momentum now, like things are happening. So that's a great reminder that the money has to move. In fact, Rebecca and I just had a conversation about that this week, that those clients who can, invest back in, and that's not about being crazy, right? Like, we recommend having some savings. So if something goes south for a month or two, you can still cover all your expenses. But knowing that, I really believe money is divine. It's divine energy, and it moves through us. One of my favorite coaches said, money comes from God through people. And oh my gosh, that has just always stuck with me, because it pulls that sort of that energy, like it's all about us. No, we're here to serve, right? And if money doesn't move, Lord knows we can't get that money to the organizations we care about, right? Which is what we talk a lot about on this show. It's like, let's grow 7-figure businesses, live great lives, and have the pleasure and the honor of giving back to the organizations we care about, which ties me to this last thing I want to talk about. Your business is a social enterprise. What does that mean? And we've talked a little bit about the causes that you care about, but why is that so important to you, Kathleen? What does it mean, and why is it important?
Yes, I think, Ursula, you couldn't have said it better, right? It's definitely a higher calling to make a difference. And on this planet, money is a currency to drive good in the world. And I had an awakening in 2020 where it was like, oh my goodness, I went back to the 11-year-old me, and I said, oh my goodness, I can do more for the environment, and for children, and to help families. And I need to tap into that. So business is that social change. And I give 10% of profits to community organizations that really, at a grassroots level, make a a difference locally and globally, and being rewarded for that, I think, from my higher power and the universe.
Yeah.
That's why we're here, right?
Yeah. So we always pull a quote from the podcast. Spoiler alert for you. You'll see kind of how that comes out. But anyway, I want to make sure my team, as they're listening to this, heard you say, money is a currency to drive good in the world. That is what Kathleen said. We're going to quote you on that. It's beautiful. Money is a currency to drive good in the world, because that's exactly what it is. And currency is just energy. And, more and more business owners, CEOs, like you said, are stepping onto their platforms, and it's really tough. Like, we can volunteer till the cows come home, but there's one of us, right? And we should volunteer, right? We should volunteer for those organizations we're called to, which is amazing. And it's pretty powerful to be able to write a check or to Venmo, like however you're sending money to organizations, to be able to impact with money can move things really quickly. And for so long, I think, especially sadly, women business owners were coming out of this, but we had this belief for a long time that there wasn't enough, or that we couldn't have 7-figure or multi-7 or 8 or 9 or 10-figure businesses and have great lives. And we really want to dispel those myths here, that that's not only all possible, many women are doing it now, but there's this call for us as business owners to be able to write those checks. And so thank you for sharing that you do, and the difference that you're making in the world. So Kathleen, one more time, we know bloom44.com is the place to go, right? So the free gifts, they'll find some things there. We'll have more in the show notes. Anything else you want to say about the free gifts and other places you hang out that listeners can connect with you?
Absolutely. So where people can find me, bloom44.com. So bloom like the flower, 44 the number. And so I know people like to shop around and check out solutions. So I have 3 tiers of kind of my freebies. So one is really those canvases, those value proposition stories, and the business canvas are up there free. You don't even need to give me your contact information. Just download them and use them and share them, right? Because what business owner doesn't need them? The second level is, I think probably 80% of people print those out. They look at it and it's like, oh my gosh, this is a blank sheet of paper. Where do I start? So if you just give me simply your email address, you will get 10 tips to complete it in an hour or less, and some bonuses to really, really enhance that. And I'll collect your email. I promise I will not spam it or share your contact with anybody. I have that integrity. And the last is, if you are a caring healthcare B2B to C company, and you just want a free complimentary consultation, you'll see a link to my calendar under the Contact Us page. So please engage. I believe in the power of collaboration. And like Ursula and I, we're on the same page with that. The other places I hang out, LinkedIn, my personal page, please follow and connect. Kathleen Hustad, Hustad. And then my LinkedIn page, Bloom44. Well, I'll be promoting best practices and connecting there as well. So yeah, please check it out, and would love to connect.
Cool. Thank you so much. Okay, but I want to clarify a couple things, because so we know, let's dig deeper. And I meant to do this sooner with you. Your ideal client. So let's say I'm not a healthcare company, but I might know someone who, define healthcare company. Like what might they be offering? How do we know if they're caring and kind of fit that target market for you? Tell us a little more before we wrap up.
Yes. So, I mean, truly, I'm a values-based company. So first off and foremost, I lead with the values. So if you are a leader at a company, you have the mission to make a world a better place resonates with you. That's kind of the number one qualifier. In healthcare, it can be super broad, but what I tend to, who I help the most are CEOs, COOs, and they have like a clinical background. So maybe they were a nurse in a prior life, or a physician, that sort of thing. And they are having a hard time breaking through the lingo and the business ease and getting in front of their customers, those big health plans, those big health systems. So those are kind of the two main things. And if you're on the fence of, hey, can I benefit just book some 15-minute conversations. And if I can't help you, I'll do my best to connect you with somebody who can and point you in that direction.
Perfect. That was helpful. So if it's not you, but you might know someone, definitely send them Kathleen's way. She's doing great things in the world. And as you said, Kathleen Hustad said, money is a currency to drive good in the world. I'm going to keep quoting you because it's so beautiful. Kathleen, thank you for hanging out with us today on the Quantum Revenue Expansion podcast.
Ursula, thank you so much for all your gifts, not just here on the platform to amplify this message to help business owners. Thank you always for holding space for me and providing guidance to help me accelerate my business. It just means the world.
Oh my gosh. Well, we're pretty honored to get to hang out with you. So thank you for being part of our community, and all you bring to our community and our clients and the way you support everyone is greatly appreciated. So thank you. And we wish you all the best between now and forever as you continue to grow your company. So thanks again.
Thank you.
And to our listeners all over the world, we love you. We send you so much love. We're grateful for the time we get to spend every week with you. I can feel, the thoughts and the energy, and this podcast is downloaded all over the world now. And so, thanks for hanging out with us. We hope it inspires you to keep going in your business. We hope it inspires you to scale your business. We hope it inspires you to help other business owners and other people in the world lead better lives. So that's it for this week, everybody. Have a great week. We'll see you soon.
Thank you for joining us today. And if you are ready to make your next quantum leap, let's do it. Ursula invites you to join us at the 2X Intensive. Go to salescoachnow.com/apply. Don't forget to leave us a review on your favorite podcast app.